So I'm overjoyed to introduce Luc Jolin. Pretty close? Jolin. And, and Fabrice Lavas. From Insta Bretagne. Yeah, I'm American, I butcher everybody's name. And it's not on purpose, believe it or not. A simple controller for following salvage.
Yes, simple, yes. So first, I recall that Ifremer is the one who has built the boat, as said Fabrice just before, and we take care about all software and algorithms. So here I will explain you the motivation. First, I will the interest of our interest here is to build a controller. So a controller, you have two inputs, A and B, so 2 points. And you have a line between A and B, and you have to follow this line from A to B. But so you have two inputs in the boat, the rudder and the sail. So the maximum angle for the sail, because of the main sheet, we can only control the maximum angle of the sail. So first of all, the line following. We decompose into two controllers. The first controller is a heading controller, or primitive controller. It computes, so the input is the heading you want, and it will give you the angle for the rudder and for the tuning for the sail. So I will first explain this one, and then I will provide another controller that will give you the heading to be followed. So, first of all, about the heading controller, so you will see some formulas, but I will explain them. It has to be simple, and the simple formula we use is this one. So I will explain you why it is this one. And so first, it has only few parameters, almost no parameters, because everything can be measured. For instance, delta R max is a maximum angle for the rudder. So almost no parameters. So this one is very simple. First, you have the heading you want, and you have two possibilities. First, if the cosine of if we are here, so this is represented otherwise, and here, if this condition is satisfied, it means that we are about on the right direction. So here, so we provide some kind of proportional control with respect to the sign to avoid the modulo 2p problem. If we are on this part, then we took the same formula except that we put the sign. So why the sign? Because the rudder should be either blocked totally on the right or on the left, but the formula is the same, so it means that here it's some kind of error. The one we have chosen. About the sail, we have chosen some cardioid model. So this is a cardioid model we have chosen with only one parameter, which is Q. These parameters, so what is a cardioid? A cardioid is has this shape. So if you have this psi bar, so which is equal to theta bar more or less to p, what will happen? It means that the cos will be equal to 1. And then, so how can I interpret it here? If I am here, it means that the sail is open at the maximum. It is P over 2, so P divided by 2. If now I am against the wind, it means that the angle will be 0. And here you have some kind of continuum which represent the cardioid. You have one parameter which tells you how should be this cardioid, and it can be tuned if we take if we go perpendicular to the wind. We try to find the maximum the angle where we have to give to the sail to go as fast as possible, and this angle will be equal to beta. Then we compute Q, and then for our boat we propose this cardioid model. So quite easy to implement. And after this, of course, I obtain what I call the heading controller. The only input is theta bar, and it will provide you the angle for the sail and the tuning. So the tuning for the angle, for the sail, and for the rudder. Sorry. So now, the second step is the vector field. If you have a motorboat, then some kind of ideal vector field would be this one. So what I mean by vector field? Well, if I am here, then the robot will follow this direction. We try to follow this direction. If I am here, I will try to follow this direction, but and in fact, I will be attracted by this line. This line with A and B. Of course, some direction are not allowed. That's why I will call this vector field the nominal vector field. The formula for this vector field is given here. As we can see, if E represents the shift, so the distance between, the algebraic distance between the robot and the line, here it will be positive, here it will be negative. So it is a nominal vector field, and I will show you now on a small software how it works. So here I have the nominal vector field, and I can change the wind. So if I change the wind, I can see that some direction of the vector, the nominal vector field, are not visible. They are represented in red. It depends of one angle zeta, which corresponds, so we can see it here, the angle zeta, corresponds to the angle when I am in a close hold angle. So if I move it, of course, if I change the coefficient zeta, then I will have here with a good sailboat, which is able to go almost against the wind. As you can see, more and more directions are possible with a given, for a given wind. Here it is the wind. For instance, I can go in this direction, I can go in this direction, but here it corresponds to the no-go zone. I cannot go like this. So for our boat, for us, I can say that it is something like this. And well, let me take something like this. So now what I have to do, since I cannot go in some direction, I will try to provide only directions that are possible. So I will use so two different strategies can be taken. If I want to go there, I can project either here or either here, and I obtain a new vector field. Now, as we can see here, there is another possibility. Excuse me, I take like this. But I will try to. So it's difficult to represent here, but as we can see, sorry, I will try to do something. Okay. Keep that. Right. Okay. Here there is some kind of difference. The nominal vector field here is possible. Here it was not possible. That's why I had to project it, either on the right, either on the left. Now, when the line AB, which is represented here, is against the wind, so it is against the wind, then I have another strategy which will require to be always on a close hold strategy. It means that I do not have to follow the nominal mode, but I have to be either like this, which corresponds to this. I will be more efficient when I will try to follow this line. So let me give you some simulation for that simulation. So I take an initial condition, like this one, and of course I follow the line. I will explain you after. There is some kind of hysteresis. But if I take different initial condition, then as we can see here, I will be in green with a nominal mode, and then I will go to the line in a close hold strategy. If I remove this one, let me start again. Then, sorry. I will continue in a direct nominal mode, and then only at the end, I will take a closed form strategy. So now also I wanted to explain you, if I take several wind, so all feasible wind, as you can see, I don't know exactly where the wind comes from. So if I take using different wind, different wind, I will have different vector fields that are possible on it. So if I want to know how to prove some properties, I will have to take all possible wind, that's why it's represented here, and the mathematical tool, so if my boat is here, I can guarantee that for all possible field, I will go in this direction. So I have some kind of cone of all possible direction where my boat is going. It is what we call, I will explain after, a differential inclusion. So, here. Oh, sorry. So what I said before, there is a no-go zone with a coefficient called, where I have called zeta, where I cannot go. Oh, I explain. So what about the controller? The controller I propose, first I compute the algebraic distance to the line, then I compute the angle of the line, I compute the nominal direction. Now, if this direction is feasible, is possible, or if, in a keep tag strategy, or if the line is not feasible, if I am, this direction is not feasible, or if the line is against the wind, then I choose a closed fall strategy. Otherwise, I choose the nominal strategy, and I am sure that the vector field controller will provide me a feasible direction. Now, I am sure I have to prove it. And to prove it, first of all, then I have to add also hysteresis variable in order to allow the boat to move from one tag to another and not to move immediately once I am on the main line. So this is the whole control. So now, how can I prove that for all feasible wind, my vector field will have some given properties? The properties I want is to enter inside a corridor. The length of the corridor is 50 meters on the right, 50 meters on the left. So I want to prove that my differential equation, or my vector field, will always enter for any wind. So there is two possibilities. First, by simulation, as Fabrice explained before, for the simulation, we have some kind of state equation, and with the state equation, we are able to simulate the boat. So you can see the boat. So when I click up, I will stop it. The boat is here. I can move the rudder, as you can see here, and I can move the length of the engine. So here, as you can see here. So with the state equation, I am able to move it. Whoops. Sorry. Then I can control it. Up, and you can see. So it is not that accurate, but it is the one we use for our simulation. If you have better state equation, we are interested, of course. I stop it. Sorry. Sorry. No, it was this one. Okay. Okay. So now, maybe where we can put theory on that is the theoretical validation of the vector field. First of all, if the wind is known, then the control robot can be described by a state equation. So in robotics, we often use this state equation. When there is no perturbation, when we know everything, we have a state equation. When we don't know So, to study the stability of some kind of stability that we want to prove in the context of the sailboat, we use the Lyapunov theory. So the Lyapunov theory, to be simple, you have some kind of energy, and if the energy always decreases, then you know that your system will be stable. The energy is called V of X. X is a state. So it is used since a long time in robotics and in automatic control. Here we want to prove some kind of stability, but not the stability in the sense of Lyapunov. We want to be stable with respect to a corridor. When the robot is outside the corridor, it will go to the corridor. When it is inside, of course, it can move inside the corridor, but it will never go out of this corridor. So, what we changed the notion of stability, and it is what we have published recently in the journal. So, first of all, we want some kind of energy which tells you that when you are outside the corridor, so you have some kind of function V, when this function is positive, then it will decrease. Once it is negative, you don't know what happened. Here you have a picture which represented what I want to say. When you are outside, so you have the level curve of the function V, when you are outside, the function V will decrease. Here it is 0. Once you are inside, you don't know what happens. It is the notion of V stability. Then you know if it is V stable, and when you are outside, you will necessarily enter inside. And once you are inside, you will never go outside. This is what is represented by this theory. Now, as I said before, when you have some unknown parameters, such as the wind, we don't know where the wind comes from, then the state equation becomes what we call a differential equation. So X, you have a set, and X dot should belong to this set. And such a differential equation is represented here. If you have X, you have a set of feasible X dot. And then we are able, so here you have a representation. You have the corridor where you want to stay, and here you have some kind of differential equation which is not V stable. It means that if you are here, the distance to the corridor will not necessarily decrease. For good winds, everything could happen. Most of the time, it will be okay. But for some initial condition and some wind, then it is possible, if I am here, that I do this, and I will never go to the corridor. Now, if I tune differently my controller, then here I am in a situation where even for all feasible wind, I know that if I am here, I will go to the corridor. For each X, I will move to the right direction. And once I am in the corridor, I will not be able to go outside. So I can have some proof of stability that can be solved using interval analysis method to prove that it is, to prove this stability. And of course, to finish, I wanted to show some, of course, like a link with what I explained before Fabrice. So in experimental, we know that for each line, well, of course, you don't have only one line, but several lines. Then, of course, link between two lines, we don't know exactly what will happen. But for one line, we know that if we are far from the line, we will go to the line. Once we are in the right corridor, we will never go out. And it is what we observe in practice. So that's all. So why we are interested by staying in a corridor? Because we don't want to use only one robot, but we want to use several robots, and the robot has to move with other boats, other robots. So we wanted, if we want to create circulation rules, like we are for cars, to deal with swarms, then it is important that everybody stay in this corridor. And in case of accident, in case of collision, we'll be able to determine or to say who is the responsible, the robot which is responsible of the accident. That's why we are interested by this corridor approach. So thank you for attention.
Just can't imagine two robotic sailboats colliding. Any questions?
Yes?
At one point you mentioned that you have to choose between nominal mode or keep takt mode.
Yes.
There is the only not determined step in your unit. Which one do you choose? What is the criteria?
No. In fact, in the controller, the one I gave here, so you have two strategies.
Yeah, this one, yes. You have
Okay,
or
you have two strategies.
Yeah.
Either you have, at the first time we put only this line, and after we add this one. So in Vemos, you always add this line, always, because it is more efficient. If you remove this line, it works quite well, not so well, but it is another strategy, and we don't like it.
But for
So
Vemos,
it's
you have
always-
decided to use the second one.
Once for, yes, forward. Now it will be like this, forever.
Any other questions?
So, can I, one question. What is why did you choose to use such a controller instead of, for example, trying to reach the line, exactly the line? I'm assuming you want to save some power, right? Not going exactly on the line.
Yes.
And, but you could save some power, for example, having some hysteresis or some.
Yes. To me, to be exactly on the line, it depends of the GPS position. So you can say that the GPS position is something like more or less 5 meters. Or something. We could do this, but in fact, we have a cost. We always inside. Sometimes you have some, and for us, more or less 50 meters. It's perfect. It's perfect. We don't need more accuracy. So we could add some integral effect in order to go directly to the line. But I don't like the integral effect in such situation because sometimes you have some, you don't know what the robot has in his integrator, and sometimes he has some behavior due to the integrator, and you don't know why acting this way. That's why we try to avoid it, and 50 meters, it's enough. So more we are far from the line, and more the vector field. But of course, with a perfect GPS, I think we would add such an integrator to go exactly on the line.
Luke, thank you very much.
Thank you.